you're going to be able to afford a home, just like I could afford a home. You've got a future. We're going to build a future. We're building a future for you guys right here. Oh my God, this is why I'm in this, actually, right there.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Maple-Blooded Podcast. Our Make-A-Wish Prime Minister Mark Carney is an embattled candidate. This guy hasn't even been in politics for more than a month, and already he has faced scandal after scandal related to his hidden assets, tax evasion, and he now has candidates with ties to the People's Republic of China. We'll get to that in a minute. Now that I'm a few episodes into the podcast, I thought I would explain what you can expect from it. There are a lot of podcasters who do great work and post daily. My intention with this podcast is to not necessarily break a story or comment on one immediately. I am more of a wait-and-see person. And what I want to do here is digest a story over a few days and hope to provide a fulsome commentary on a topic. Basically, I want to say what I need to say and then move on. And while you're here, please take a few seconds to subscribe to my channel and click on the like button of this video. My goal right now is to try and reach 500 subscribers. If you haven't been paying attention to the news, earlier in the week on April 7th, the Security and Intelligence Threats to Elections Task Force, otherwise known as SITE, provided a briefing that they discovered the Chinese government was behind recent campaigns to influence opinion of Liberal leader Mark Carney on China's largest social media network. On March 10th and March 25th, Yuli Yumian, the most popular news account on the Chinese social media platform WeChat, shared posts about Mark Carney that cast him in a generally positive light. Both posts on the account soon caught fire at a suspiciously fast pace, garnering between 85,000 and 130,000 interactions and an estimated 1 to 3 million views. The post got so much attention so quickly on the Chinese platform that they caught the attention of SITE, which discovered that the posts were part of an information campaign by the People's Republic of China. The content had received an unusually high amount of engagement from a group of 30 smaller WeChat accounts that boosted the post's visibility well beyond the norm and for at least 4 days. This content had been amplified in a coordinated and inauthentic way. This information operation had contrasting positive and negative narratives, first amplifying Mr. Carney's stance with the United States and then targeting his experience and credentials, said PCO Assistant Secretary for Communications Lori Ann Kempton during a Monday briefing for reporters in Ottawa. The SITE task force assesses that the foreign state-backed information operation was intended to influence Canadian Chinese communities and look to mold perceptions about Carney, she said. The March 10 post was titled "The U.S. Encounters a Tough Guy Prime Minister" and describes Carney's position on President Donald Trump's tariff threats. The March 25th post, titled "Canada's Road to a Seeking Survival Election," describes Carney's political road to Liberal leader, but also notes that his career to date has not been smooth, and he's been criticized by Conservatives for refusing to disclose his assets. In a press conference, CBC asked Mark Carney about SITE's evaluation, about the PRC's campaign to boost posts about him, and if he is comfortable with that support. Watch how much he bungles the answer.
Well, a couple of things I'll say. So, one of the steps I took as Prime Minister was to review the measures to ensure electoral integrity, to fight against foreign interference, and so some of that is just briefing on specific situations, which obviously I can't share. But I approved some structural changes, which included that the SITE task force publicly report any incidents that they became aware of in real time.
Okay, this is an outright lie. SITE was already providing public briefings to Canadians well before Mark Carney was the Prime Minister designate. And it's very disturbing how willing Mark Carney can just casually lie like that. We'll talk about that more after we hear one of the most ridiculous answers you'll hear from a world leader in your lifetime.
From my understanding, some of the campaign was pushing positive narratives about you. Why do you think that China, the PRC, seems to like you? Why are they praising you?
I have absolutely no idea, and I have absolutely no idea, and I think I'll leave it at that.
Catherine Lévesque, National Post. Good morning.
Did you hear that? The question was, why do you think the PRC seems to like you? And his answer was, I don't know. It was so absurd, even the next reporter began her question while laughing at him. The way a leader would usually answer a question like that would be, I don't know, but I want to make it known that the PRC is interfering in our democracy and I condemn their actions unequivocally. In my opinion, Mark Carney's arrogance is preventing him from being briefed on how to handle the media. I'm sure he has a comms team that wants to work with him on how to answer questions that they believe are going to come from the media. And Mark Carney just seems to be winging it, as if he believes he knows everything and always has the best answer to a question, and you just have to accept it because of his position. Now, regarding Mark Carney's lie about Site's public briefings, and this seems to have been memory hold for some reason, but Site briefed the public after they discovered that China was targeting Chrystia Freeland's leadership campaign by sharing misinformation on the WeChat platform. Back in February, the Toronto Star reported a team at Global Affairs Canada has identified a misinformation campaign targeting Liberal leadership hopeful Chrystia Freeland that appears to emanate from China. Site, a group of high-ranking public servants that are assigned to review classified information about possible foreign interference in Canada's democracy, issued a statement about the campaign late Friday afternoon. Canada's rapid response mechanism detected coordinated and malicious activity about Ms. Freeland. The launch of this information operation was traced to WeChat's most popular news account, an anonymous blog that has been previously linked by experts at the China Digital Times to the People's Republic of China. On the social media site, X, Freeland said she would not be intimidated. Having spent years confronting authoritarian regimes, I know firsthand the importance of defending our freedoms. Canada's democracy is strong. My thanks to our national security agencies for protecting it. The task force said that RRM identified 30 news accounts on the popular Chinese social networking site WeChat that were spreading misinformation about Freeland. It did not indicate the substance of the misinformation, but estimated that 2 to 3 million users saw the campaign globally. WeChat is a Chinese app with more than 1 billion users and contains social networking, payment, and messaging functions. Now, Mark Carney was a leadership contender at the time as well. How did he respond to this report? With this incredibly weak and vague condemnation. I fully support Chrystia Freeland and her campaign in light of this disturbing report. I am fully committed to defending the integrity of this race and stand firm against any attempts to undermine our democracy. My deepest gratitude to the national security and intelligence officials who lead this important work to sustain trust in our democratic process. Notice he didn't even use the word China. In fact, Mark Carney has never used the word China on the X platform at all. That seems a bit strange, wouldn't you think? And Mark Carney eventually won a landslide victory in the Liberal leadership race after 250,000 potential votes vanished. From the counted vote, he won 86% across every single riding. And somehow even trounced Chrystia Freeland, a very visible Liberal MP, in her own riding of University Rosedale by a margin of 1,322 to 188. Getting back to this week, the train wreck of the Orient Express just kept going from there. The Globe and Mail reported that new Liberal candidate for Markham Unionville, Peter Yang, who was chosen to replace Paul Chang, was linked to pro-Beijing groups and events. The Liberal leader candidate selected by Mark Carney to replace one who was dropped over a China-related controversy is a member of Beijing-friendly lobby organization and has given talks at events honoring a Toronto group that advocates for the annexation of Taiwan by China. One-time Toronto Police Deputy Chief Peter Yang, who is now carrying the Liberal banner in the Toronto area riding of Markham Unionville, succeeded Paul Chang. The former MP stepped down April 1st after news broke that he had talked to reporters about how someone could take a conservative candidate and human rights advocate to the Chinese consulate to claim a bounty put on him by Hong Kong authorities. Foreign interference has been a significant topic in this federal election campaign, including this week when Ottawa's election interference watchdog announced that it had detected an information operation from Beijing aimed at shaping public opinion of Chinese Canadians about Mark Carney. Mr. Yang appears to have a strong relationship with China's diplomatic mission in Toronto. In 2014, the consulate held an event to mark his promotion to Toronto Police Superintendent. He has attended consulate celebrations, including one in January 2020, that included a photo display on Xinjiang province that did not acknowledge Beijing's brutal treatment of its Muslims Uyghur minority there. Canada's parliament adopted a motion in 2021 that declared China's treatment on its Uyghurs a genocide. The new Liberal candidate as of Wednesday was listed as Honorary Director of the Jiangsu Commerce Council of Canada, also known as JCCC, a Toronto-headquartered organization founded in 2002 with clear ties to China's United Front Work Department. The UFWD answers to the ruling Chinese Communist Party Central Committee and oversees Beijing's influence, propaganda, and intelligence operations inside and outside of China. And as if it already wasn't bad enough, videos were posted on the Chinese consulate's website in 2017 of Peter Yang in his Toronto police uniform singing the song My Chinese Heart. This was at a gala hosted by the Confederation of Toronto Chinese Canadian Organizations, which has direct ties to Beijing's United Front work department. And oh my god, you have to watch Mark Carney's epic meltdown when a Globe and Mail reporter asked him why he met with the JCCC himself.
Globe and Mail. My colleagues have a story today about a Liberal candidate's relations with China-friendly groups and a meeting that you also held with a pro-Beijing group. So my question is, why did you meet with this pro-Beijing group, Jiangsu Commerce Council of Canada? And is the party okay with the fact that Liberal candidate Peter Yan has been so close with the Chinese consulate and China-friendly groups, given the public inquiry into foreign interference, says that this is a tactic China uses to exert influence?
Okay, well, I'm sorry, but you can't believe everything you read in the Globe and Mail. So in your question, and I guess in the article in question, you said I had a meeting with whatever your term was, Beijing group. I've never heard of this group, okay? Never heard of this group. Certainly didn't have a set-up meeting with this group. Full stop. So check your sources before you write things like that.
Check your sources? Isn't it amazing how Mark Carney frequently speaks to female reporters like this? Imagine if Pierre Poilievre did the same thing. Canada would be sucked into a black hole singularity. And the Globe and Mail didn't take it lightly. Stephen Chase posted a picture of Mark Carney with JCCC members on X. In true liberal fashion, we still don't have any answers. Where is Mark Carney now? Well, he's taken his third break of a so far 17-day-long campaign to once again return to Ottawa to address the nebulous threats of Donald Trump's tariffs. And speaking of inauthentic boosting of content on WeChat, I noticed this on X. It was posted on April 3rd, 2025 by a relatively small account at Violet Dante. Now what it says is Mark Carney is arguably the greatest economic/finance mind to ever lead a country in the history of the modern world. People like him virtually never get into politics. Not only did he run the central banks of 2 G7 countries, only living person to do so, and then it further continues to be a thread of adoration towards Mark Carney. Now this post somehow garnered 4.4 million views on X. It was reposted 5,300 times. It received 47,000 likes. This is incredible reach. This is the kind of reach that only Elon Musk himself seems to get. How did this happen? And that will be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed listening to my content. I'll share a link to my podcast about Paul Chang at the end of the video. Have a great day. I'll talk to you again soon.